Hello, welcome to Microsoft Excel Level 2, Video 3, Using Math in If Statements. So I'm back on my main screen where we've seen at the beginning of each of our videos on the if statement, and we're now on row number 5. So I'm going to start by spending a little bit of time explaining what's going on here, and then we're going to take a look at one example together again. As well, I'll leave you with some activity to practice. So the difference, again, we can see everything is the same until we get into our true and our false components. Now, we started with labels without quotation marks. We then went on to numbers that were just straight numbers. Now we have math. So if I take a close look inside here, you can see equals if open bracket, A5 greater than 50, comma. Now it says take A5 and multiply it by 10, or take A5 and multiply it by 5. Now, why would we do anything like this? Well, we are saying if this cell A5 is greater than 50, I'm going to give you 10 times whatever that cell is. If it's not greater than 50, you only get 5 times. Where would I use this type of a thing? Well, the greatest part that would come to mind for me would be a commission sales. So if you sold more than $1,500 of product, I would give you 10%, which would be decimal 1. Or I'd give you 5% if you didn't make the sales quota this month for your commission, which would be decimal 0.5. So there's an example there. I want to take that together with you, and we're going to head over here to our numbers. And this is the one that we did before with bonus. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another column on here called commission. A couple of M's missing there. There we go. And we're going to do another one in this column for commission to sale. So rather than you getting a flat bonus of money, you're going to get a percentage of what you sold in the store. Obviously, this is very, very, very common. Some of you might even have a job where you're making commission to sales right now. So here we go. Let's try this out. Equals if, open bracket, those parts never change, remember. I'm going to click on the sales for Mary. That's B3 greater than 1,500, because that was the threshold that we used before, and down below, comma. Okay, so Mary, if you sell more than $1,500 of product, I will take the amount that you sold and then shift in number 8 to get us the asterisk, decimal 1. So decimal 1 means 10%. Okay, so there's a little bit of maybe understanding there that you'll have to work on in terms of learning what percentages equal what in terms of decimal values. But this means if Mary sells that, she's going to get 10% of her total sales, comma. And we'll have a really cruel store. If she doesn't, she gets 0. So now here's a mixed one. We have an equation for the true statement, and we just have a flat number for our false. Shift in 0 to close the bracket, and everything looks good. So I press enter. Mary gets nothing because $1,345 is less than 1,500. I'm going to click once on there, pull this all the way down, and let go. Okay, notice that Joe, who sold 1,500, didn't get it either because you have to sell more than 1,500. He missed it by $1. Okay, I chose 10% because it's easy to see then if it's working. So 10% of $1,700 is $170. Okay, 10% of $2,100 is $210. So commission sale or working in a commission environment is a fantastic example of where you could use an if statement that has math built in. So once again, I'm going to escape from there, and I'm just going to pop open the top one so you can see that one more time. And you can go ahead and write that one down. And if you want at this time too, you can pause the video and then of course recreate. If you didn't save the page from the last set of videos that we did, you can recreate the section it's in here, and rather than running a bonus column, you could run a commission column and go ahead and practice this equation with yourself for a few times so that you're comfortable with it. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to head over to our next one that we're going to work on today, and that is this one. So I'm going to delete the answer out. And this is one that, again, you can download these activities from the files that I've uploaded there for you. But also, I'd probably encourage you, even at this stage, is just practice making these, right? See if you can keep repeating how to merge the cells across the top, how to use bold, how to add a little bit of color, bold across there, right? Practice, practice, practice. So what does it want us to do in this one? We have a handful of products in our store, and it says create an if statement that will exempt taxes if the cost of the item is over $25. If it's under, then you're going to pay 5%. Okay, this is a trickier one, not because of the math or anything else, but because our true and false are actually opposite of what they were in the past, right? So we're looking that if you are over a certain amount, you get exempt. And if not, then you're paying. So if it's not equal to a certain amount, if it's under. All right, here we go. So I'm going to click on the t-shirt. We're going to go equals if, open bracket, this number, okay, if this cost is less than, less than 25. All right, so we are used to using the other math operator, right? This is the tricky part. You can use either one. You just got to decide where your true and your false will lie. So if the cost of the item is over, all right, 25, tax is exempt. If it's under, then pay 5%. So I'm going to flip it around. So if it's under, then pay 5%. If B3 is less than 25, pay 5%. All right, so comma, then we click the number times decimal 0.5 is 5%, comma, and now it doesn't tell us what to display on the other one. So here's where I'm going to show you another couple of options. So, all right, exempt the tax. So I could go with quotation mark EXEMPT, close quotation mark, exempt, and press enter. All right, 1099 is not over 25, so we're paying tax. That is correct. All right, so if I slide it to the ones that are over though, it says exempt, exempt, and then it's options of money for the other two. So that's one way we could have done it. I'm gonna go back in here. The other way, I guess, we could have went is just 0 and enter. All right, so I'm gonna click back on this cell. I'll drag this back down again. And now we get a nil, nil. Now it's showing me that because this is converted to currency. So if you remember in our previous video, we talked about how to do currency. So that just basically means 0, 0. Okay, I'm gonna slide this back up and I'll show you the one other option that you have when it comes to this. Rather than a 0 there, if I put a pair of quotation marks, so an opening and a closing like that with nothing else in it, it leaves the cell blank. Okay, enter. Click once on there. Drag it down, and then we get a couple of blank cells. That just shows us that it's not, right? So it's exempt. So you can pause and rewind this section of video. If you want to practice those like I just did, I'll scroll back up and explain them one more time here for you, and then I'll send you on your way to practice. We have an option here for this negative statement. So the three choices are, and the ones that we've already tried, we can use a label in there. So we can mix math and numbers and math and labels and numbers. That part doesn't matter. So I had a quotation mark and I said exempt and a close quotation mark. We practiced that in the first if video. We could put a 0 in there, which basically means 0. So that would be a number like we did in our second video. The third option is this one. So an opening and a closing pair of quotation marks with nothing else in between them means exempt. So it just means a blank cell as well. So 3 different choices for you. Okay, so off you go to practice. There are a couple of examples that I showed you here now that you can create. So the commission sales one, practice that one, as well practice this one. And both of these again will be uploaded for you that you can download and work on as well. Thanks for watching.